There are Americans coming over here being nasty, doing nasty things, and being bad to the locals. Now, let me flip the script. If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
Greetings, good people, and welcome to Afrocentric. Here we connect you with Africa, and we definitely celebrate Africa. Commentary that can help you navigate the continent. That said, I came across this video online, and it speaks a lot about the challenges that brothers and sisters from the diaspora are facing on the continent. Not in every country. This particular sister is in Ghana and speaks about her own journey. And she's raising some very, very fundamental questions about the year of return in Ghana. What is the true value to Africans of diaspora who are returning to the continent? Why won't Ghana make it easier for them to be accepted as indeed prodigal children who are stolen from the motherland and who need to return to a place that they really feel is home, a place that they can embrace as home? And clearly, as she alludes to, there are also challenges that locals are experiencing based on the return of the brothers and sisters from the diaspora. But let's have a look and let's have a chat at the tail end of it.
There are Americans coming over here being nasty, doing nasty things, and being bad to the locals. Now, let me flip the script, okay? Let's talk about the fact that we get abused over here too. The thing about Ghana is stop crying victim. Stop crying victim, because y'all cheat us out of a lot of stuff. Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Tabi, till I came to Ghana. Okay. Y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a fucking blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 because I only had hundreds, because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said, $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere. I ain't never went nowhere in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada where it said you pay, if you a local, if you're from here, you pay $3 for a Coca-Cola, but if you're a foreigner, you pay $8 for a Coca-Cola. I ain't never seen that nowhere except Ghana. Nobody in the airport has ever asked me for no money for nothing. I have only seen that in Ghana. Now let's talk about the fact that y'all welcomed us home and how this process looks to me. According to y'all, the ones of us that were stolen, so let's talk about the process of coming home. We got stolen from our mother, our birth mother and father. 20 years later, we're probably 26 years old now. Our mother finds us and she said, baby, y'all come home. I miss you. Come back home. Get out them streets where they don't love you at and come home. So we drive, take a taxi, however we get to our mother's address, we get there. But before she let us come to the door, she says, oh, welcome home. But before you come in, can you pay me $300 to enter the door? That's the visa to come home. So, okay, we happy to be home. So we paid $300 to our mother to step foot in her house because we're excited to be home to the motherland, okay? We get in there and now it's dinner time. And she has plates on the table for the kids that grew up in the house. And she has a plate on the table for me and my sister who was stolen years ago. And she says, oh, my daughters, because you didn't grow up here, my children get to eat free that grew up here. But because you were stolen and you're just coming back, I have to charge you $20 for a plate. So me and my sister, we're so happy to be home. We're confused. We pay her $20 for a plate. Okay. That's the cocoon shit. That's y'all giving us different prices for shit. Okay. Now we're at our mother's house and we're enjoying being there. We see something's a little weird, but we enjoy being back home with our mother. We decide we want to stay. And she goes, oh, you want to stay a little longer? You're going to have to pay me $1,000 every year to stay here. That's the residency. Now we're paying her for residency, even though she invited us home after we were stolen from her. Okay. Now we pay the residency, and then we decide, you know what? We want to get on the birth certificate. We kind of like it here. It's a little weird, but we comfortable enough to stay here. And she tells us, oh, in order for you to stay here, I have to put my name on your birth certificate. That's going to be $3,000 each, please. And then I will put your name on the birth certificate and you will become a family member. That's the citizenship. That's the citizenship. So how are we home if we got to pay y'all? Why aren't the visas free if this is home? Why don't you make this visa free for us? If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
Very valid questions. A returning child, returning home after 400 years, invited by motherland. And then you still have to go through a lot of these hoops, a lot of these costs. And you then ask yourself, am I really returning home? Am I really wanted here? So I totally get that, and I empathize with that situation. It really comes down to policy. Policy in many African countries, not just Ghana. A lot more needs to go into the commitment element of it. That if you want the African diaspora to return home, you have got to put in place something that works, something that tells them, you are home, we embrace you, welcome back. But if the charges continue, you still want to charge visa fees, you still want to charge for residency, you still want to charge for citizenship, and exorbitantly at that, then where is the honesty about embracing those who are returning home? Why are you inviting them back? Why is Africa doing this? Africa Union perhaps would be the safest bet in terms of trying to push an agenda that can have an Africa policy for those who are returning to the continent, so that it is not all these different fees levied from across the nations of Africa. There's an argument that those who are returning are foreigners, even in their own countries, they charge fees anyway. But I think we must acknowledge that these guys were stolen from amongst us. Some were sold, as we hear, from history. But the larger story there is that there was use of brutal force to take our brothers and sisters away from the continent. They are returning and they're facing challenges. And for those who are returning, I'll tell you something, that challenges also exist for your brothers and sisters who are on the continent. Sadly, it is because from amongst us, those who have emerged as the political elite, the ruling class of Africa, have tended to work with the foreign powers to benefit themselves and to benefit the same foreign powers. So you will see them go to meetings, you will see them attend state visits, but it is at the behest of the said foreign power. It is for their own benefit, for the political elite, and for their families, forgetting that Africa has a future that it needs to take care of. It needs to take care of its children, its future generation. And these political elites in Africa just don't get it. For some reason, I don't know if they imagine that they will live in the clouds or elsewhere. If anything, COVID proved that home, east or west, home is the place to be at. And Africa is home. We cannot be embraced elsewhere. It has been demonstrated that when you are of African descent and you live in the US, for example, you live in Britain, but especially in the US, you see the brutality visited on our family. That the African person, as soon as you walk out the door, you're a moving target. And indeed, we have brothers and sisters who have died at the hands of brutal police force within the safety of their own homes. That tells you that Africa really is the home. Are we doing enough to make it easier? No, we are not. And that is where we have got to team up. We have got to find means through associations to lobby the African Union, to push for policies that can be embraced within the larger Africa, that will allow for the return and the opportunity for the black folk who are out there to create meaningful life on the continent. Challenges will exist on both sides. And one of the things that Africa is grappling with is that there are those who will return, but they will also pick up a certain quality of life, a certain value system that does not exist on the continent, which will be in direct conflict with the value systems you will find in Africa. Those cultural differences will exist, and they will require a lot of work. There will be tensions that will exist, and I think I've previously done a story on Liberia. You can check it out on the channel, and how the returnees creating Liberia, the state, ended up dominating Liberia. Eventually, the nation state of Liberia fell apart because of the foreign influence, the hand of America in the political affairs of that country, and the emerging black elite that was in conflict with the indigenous population in Liberia. So we need to be alive to these challenges and look through history. What are the lessons we can learn from there? What can we borrow that can work? What should we leave aside? So that we can be able to forge new alliances as new generations of African diaspora and continental Africans to push the journey forward. Africa is targeted by the West. Africa is the one continent that has got the vast resources in the soil, driving industry, mobile, tech industry, the motor vehicle industry, the car batteries. So Africa is of great value to the foreign powers. By the diaspora and the continental not realizing that and working towards being at the forefront of exploiting their own potential will only mean that Africa again is left on the wayside. We are alive today when there is social media that is allowing us to share this information, to connect with each other, to teach each other, to correct, to embrace the best amongst us so that we can be able to rise. Maybe this is being idealistic. Maybe some of us are imagining the impossible, I don't know. But the only word I can use there is hope. Martin Luther King hoped. Sam Cooke hoped, and we have pioneers who hoped and dreamt of a united Africa, a Pan-Africa that can embrace its children. Are we doing anything to embrace the message from people like Marcus Garvey? Are we doing enough? The onus is on us here in Africa and those who are out there, at least those who are willing. Because we also know of blacks who say we are European or we are African American. We've got nothing to do with the continent of Africa. But those who desire in their heart and wish to travel and embrace the continent are a different kind of a person. Clearly, their heart is in it. They need to be provided the opportunity and an environment that allows them to embrace the continent, to work with their brothers and sisters here. And let's seek those avenues. That's the only message I can share. I hope this resonates with you, and if it does, do like, subscribe, and share with anybody else who may be feeling that Africa is home and are looking to return, either to invest, to pilgrimage, or just tour the continent. The differences that we have, cultural, you've got your black culture from out there, we've got our African culture from here. I'm sure there's synergies we can get, either in the sports arena, in the music industry, in the film industry, because Africa is a powerhouse wherever we are. We seemingly are not seeing it. We are not seeing the power that we possess. So I urge you to do something in your own small way, including subscribing and liking and building this channel so that we can continuously connect, we can continuously share information that can build us. That is our mission. So many thanks for returning, if you're returning, and if you're here for the first time, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm out.